here from One Team Kitchen, and today I'm going to show you how to make stuffing for your Thanksgiving dinner. This recipe I have here today was actually created by my grandmother and passed down to my mother, and she's made it for every Thanksgiving since I was a child, and now it's my turn to make it. So first we'll get started on making our stock. We're just going to use 2 boxes of turkey stock. My grandmother and mother would normally make an entire turkey for Thanksgiving and use the gizzards inside to create their own homemade stock, also with the onions and celery. But for now, we're just going to use the boxes. It's just my wife and I, and we're not going to eat an entire turkey. So we'll get our turkey stock in there and then get our freshly chopped onions into the pot. And then we'll also get the celery. And what's great is you throw this over your stuffing. It adds a lot of great flavor. But also my favorite thing is just the smell it creates throughout the entire house. It actually reminds me of Thanksgivings at home when I was a child. We'll take the pot next into the kitchen and put it on the stove. We'll turn the heat to a little over medium and just, let it get hot a little bit. We'll throw in our half a stick of butter here. And once it starts to bubble, we want to make sure we turn that down and then just let it simmer for about an hour. And while that's simmering, we'll go into the dining room and start breaking apart our bread. We're just using normal white bread here that you get from the store. You can let it sit out and maybe get a little bit stale. The big thing here, though, is you want to make sure that you're not breaking it apart into too big of chunks. You want to make sure they're nice and small. Like, you don't want something that's about this size. Someone doesn't want to be trying to, fit that in their mouth at the Thanksgiving dinner table. So make sure you're just breaking them apart in nice small pieces. And then you can always go through at the end or even through the middle and just make sure if you see any big pieces, just break those apart. So like I said, no one's sitting there trying to eat almost a whole loaf of bread. So now that our stock has finished simmering, we're going to scoop it directly on top of our bread. We did let it cool for about 10 to 15 minutes, so it wasn't scalding hot when we were trying to mix it. And we'll get a couple scoops in there. And after that, we will throw in our poultry seasoning just a little bit. We want to make sure you don't put in too much at first, because you can't take any poultry seasoning out when you put it in. We'll mix it around and then take a little taste test. I did notice that the stuffing was a little too wet. I put in a little too much of the stock, so I threw in more bread, which I was planning on doing anyway. It was about 2 loaves of bread, and then I threw in the egg whites, which you notice I did after the taste test to make sure I wasn't eating raw egg whites. A little bit more of that poultry seasoning, and then we'll mix that around again and get ready to put our stuffing into the pan. But first, just make sure you grease the sides and the bottom so the stuffing doesn't stick when you pull it out later. And next you'll see, this is not a clean task. Your hands do get very messy, so, make sure you're washing your hands thoroughly before, you put everything in, and you're going to have to wash them really well after. After that, we're going to take this to the kitchen, put it in the oven, preheat it to 350, and we'll let that cook for about an hour. So after about an hour, the stuffing came out perfectly. We paired it with some great other Thanksgiving Day items. We did get a nice turkey breast and some mashed potatoes and some green beans, and now we're ready for a great meal. And I'm Matt McMonagle for One Team Kitchen. We'll see you next time. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.